Today I want to talk about safety when dating girls. This is a topic that I don't see a lot of guys talking about, especially safety when pulling a girl back to your place and making sure that you never ever get in trouble accidentally, because there's a lot of neurotic women out there that might blame you for doing something that you didn't necessarily do, or you might have accidentally done. And safety is really important, especially when you become even intermediate at game. And beginners are pulling girls all the time, so safety is really important, but I've never seen a video on it. Would you believe it? But before we kick it off, I'm Dave. This channel is dedicated to giving you no BS, novel dating advice for the modern man. Top link in the description to get some coaching with me. Make sure you subscribe as well. I'm in another hotel now. Hopefully you can hear me okay. It's quite windy up here because I'm on the roof. It's a rooftop pool overlooking the city. I've got a almost 180 degree view of the city. And you can see I got the other one over there and over there as well. That's a good little spot as well. I moved from the other location kind of because of the reason why I'm making this video. Security was way too tight, and sorry if I seem like a bit slow through all of these videos. I've been perpetually tired the entire time. So for instance, I pulled 3 girls, and I've been having a little bit too much sex, which is actually a thing, and I've been a little bit exhausted from doing so, as well as coaching as well. It's been the first, say, couple weeks, it was mainly just me coaching the guys. Now I've got a little bit more free time. I'm going a little bit too nuts, and especially when the approach to hook ratio is so high. Almost every girl hooks, and if a girl's not busy, it's so easy to just pull on an instant date and then pull home. It's ridiculous. So I managed to pull 3 girls. And as you can imagine, that's exhausting. Then you clean up the hair and you make sure there's no evidence, and you go out and pull another girl. What I want to talk about is the importance of staying safe. Now, safety is really important. This is what I talk to all of my students about. Safety, safety, safety first. You've got to be very careful, especially if you're learning, you're getting coaching from someone like me who knows what they're talking about. Most of the guys out there don't know what they're doing. But when you get coaching with me, I know that you're going to be pulling girls the way I coach works. And so the last thing you want to be doing is pulling girls back to your place that are neurotic. You don't want to find yourself in a position where you've got a girl that's giving you so many objections, and she's pretty much warning you. She's letting you know that if you pull her back to your bedroom and you touch her in any way, shape or form, she's going to lose her shit. And I don't know, maybe even have you charged with sexual assault, which is literally the worst case scenario. It's something that you really don't want to be. You don't want to find yourself in that situation at all. And so what you want to do is you want to firstly identify neurotic women way before you get them to your home. Number one, you must remember this. I want to drill this into you guys' heads. It is so important that once a girl's inside your bedroom, inside your apartment, inside your home, she's now a liability to you. She is now, if she decides to have some sort of a mental breakdown, you are now responsible for her mental breakdown, whether you caused it or not, whether you've done anything wrong or not. So you should be trying to vet neurotic women, which there are a lot out there. There's so many neurotic women. There's so many women that will blame you for their mistakes. They will blame you for things that are out of your control. They will do something stupid and then blame you for it. So common. And what you need to be doing is just making sure that she's not neurotic, making sure that she's not the type of woman that's going to have some sort of a mental issue. And you want to be looking for that early. Now, a lot of the neurotic women, they will tell you. They will actually tell you. They'll tell you, they'll make up lies. They will say, oh, look, I've been sexually assaulted before. Warning sign, never pull that girl back to your place. If she tells you, look, I've been sexually assaulted, I don't trust men, if she says she's a feminist or something like that, that's perfectly okay. As long as she's a strong enough girl that's able to tell you yes or no. But if she's the type of girl that can't say no and tells you that she's been sexually assaulted before and she's had issues with men in the past, don't bring her home, because she will be a liability to you, and you might find yourself accidentally getting a sexual assault charge because you've pulled a neurotic nutcase back to your bedroom. The moment they enter your front door, you are now liable for them. That's just how it works. You are liable for everything that happens to them, whether it's your fault or not. You have not done anything wrong. She chucks a tantrum and she decides to blame you for something that's out of your control. You're going to get yourself in trouble. You might get yourself a rape charge even. You might like a rape charge doesn't even mean that you've done anything. You might not have even touched her. You might have touched her shoulder. You touched her little shoulder and she has a little mental breakdown. She decides to say that you've raped her. You're still going to have to go through all of the drama of going to court and pitching your case and explaining why you are innocent. You see? So what I do is I teach my clients safety first. Safety first, guys. This is so important. So for instance, let me explain this. Last year, when I went through my results for last year, I had twice as many pulls as I did lays, because I'm just super careful. If she's not comfortable in any way, shape or form, even if she's you touch her shoulder and she's on your bed, she's like, oh, and she has like a reaction, and then you say, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? Which you should be doing all the time. You should always be testing her and saying, look, are you okay? Are you comfortable here? Is everything okay? If she's still having some sort of weird reactions, you're gonna have to let it go, guys. Don't be living in having that scarcity mindset where you don't tell a girl to, look, let's just go home. I'll walk you home. I'll drive you home. If she is showing any signs that she's uncomfortable in any way, shape or form, you need to be asking her, are you okay? Are you comfortable here? You know, I wouldn't say extreme cases, but quite often I will get video consent on camera. So I'll pull out my phone like this and I will literally say, do you give consent to having sex right now? And even if I've even had a girl come over and I've got video consent and she said, yes, I consent to having sex. And then I double down and I say, look, are you under duress? Am I pressuring you in any way? And she says, no, right? And I got it all on camera. Still, I might not sleep with her that night. We might just make out if she seems a little bit neurotic, and then I'll have her over the second time and I'll get video consent again. Now, you might see that as paranoid, but if you're pulling as many girls as I am, it's better to be paranoid because I'm not living in scarcity. I'm living in abundance. There's too many girls to go around, and I'd rather send home even a 1% chance of a neurotic nutcase chucking a tantrum and making up some lies about me, sending her home, than risking getting just even having to talk to the police. having to talk to anybody about something that I have not done wrong, which is very, very common. And that's why I'm talking about this with you guys today. Don't be living, it does come from that scarcity mindset. I haven't got laid in a long time, so I'm going to push it a little bit more. I'm going to try pull this drunk girl home. This girl's not that comfortable. Don't do that. Just don't. If you're not getting enough success, you might have to learn some cold approach. Obviously, that's what I teach. But if you're not getting enough results, you don't want to be in that scarcity mindset and desperate and hard up getting laid where you're pulling neurotic women. You need to be in a position where you're vetting them and you're making sure that they're not nutcases, that they're not the type of girls that are going to charge you. So let's just do a quick little recap. Number one, as soon as she enters your home, you are liable for her. So if she walks, she's normal outside. As soon as she walks into your front door and she just has a mental breakdown, you haven't even touched her, you've walked into your apartment or home, and she has a mental neurotic nutcase breakdown, and she starts yelling and screaming at you and says she's suicidal, and you touched her shoulder and you sexually assaulted by touching her shoulder, you're liable. The police are going to always take her side. Don't put yourself in that situation. So you want to be looking for neuroticism. Neurotic women. Number one, be very, very careful with neurotic women. Do not allow them into your home. They are dangerous. They'll take away your freedom. They really will. Whether you've done nothing at all, they will take away your freedom. So be very careful. This is why I've never got in trouble at all. I've never had, touch wood, be very careful, touch wood. But I'm super careful, really careful, so careful. If a girl feels uncomfortable in any way, shape or form, I'm like, let me walk you home, super nice. Once she's inside your place too, don't start arguments. If she has a mental breakdown, don't start yelling at her and swearing at her and telling her to go. You're liable, so you have to become a simp. You have to turn around and be like, oh, it's okay, let me get you. As soon as she's out that door, fuck off. Tell her to go, right? But as soon as you get a girl in your apartment, you're in trouble. You're liable for her. So make sure, one, as soon as she gets into your apartment, there's someone behind us here, we've got some people here, you're liable for her, one. Two, before you even go back to your apartment, make sure that she's not neurotic. And if you see any sort of signs of neuroticism, see you later, bye-bye, tell her to go home. This is so important that you do this. It's the difference between a horny dumb dude pulling the wrong girl back and getting charged, wrongfully charged with sexual assault, and spending 6 months explaining himself to a judge that is always going to be taking the woman's side. You don't want to put yourself in that position at all. You always want to be avoiding that. And this is something that I read the Riot Act to guys all the time before you go get coaching with me. Safety first, safety first, safety first. Be careful pulling girls. Look for neuroticism. Tell them to go. You don't want anything to do with these neurotic women that can flip and change. And girls, another sign would be girls that are leading you. Girls that decide to, you say, look, I want to go here, and they go, no, let's go here. And they want to start leading you. They're taking the masculine frame, and you find yourself in a bit of a frame battle. You must be winning those frame battles. You must be making the decisions. You must be the one that's leading. If you're not leading, that's also a sign. So if she's leading you, She might lead you into a dark alleyway. She might lead you back to your place, and it might be a premeditated attack on you. You don't know. You don't know what you're going to get yourself into out there. It's the Wild West dating at the moment, especially in Western society where women have all of the power. You don't want to find yourself in a situation. One more story. Mid last year, I day game. Oh, it was afternoon, late afternoon, almost dinner time. Day game approach on the street. It was about 7 p.m. something like that. I like to do around that time period if I'm looking for a girl to have dinner with. See, I met a 20-year-old cute blonde Australian girl. She was cute. She wasn't like that hot, but when you're my age, 41, you're literally double her age, so it's as advanced game as you can get. Met her. She said she was going out to meet some friends for a drink. I built up enough rapport in a short little interaction, got a number, and suggested that when she finishes drinking with her friends, she comes and meets me, and then we hang out. So she did that. It was probably about 9:30, something like that. She only went for a couple of drinks and messaged me and wanted to come hang out straight away. I pulled her. We got literally across the road from my home, where she told me that she had been sexually assaulted before. She had it was her best friend too, which is another warning sign. Firstly, she's been sexually assaulted, and it was by her best friend or something, some guy. Then she charged him, and he's in jail now. 3 warning signs. No respect for your best friend. Apparently sexually assaulted her, and he's now in jail and lost all of his freedom. On top of that, I started noticing lots of signs of neuroticism. So she wasn't stable. This girl was not stable at all. Off the cold approach, she seemed like she had her shit together, but after speaking to her for a while, I noticed that she was neurotic as hell. So if you were to ask me, I would say that there's a very good chance that her best friend didn't really do too much wrong. He just misread the signs, and he got himself in a lot of trouble. He's in jail now. So what did I do when I saw all of those signs? Massive red flags. I said, let me walk you home. Let me walk you back to the train station, and I'll send you home. And she went from bitchy, neurotic, beautiful, not beautiful, just 20. Any girl at 20 that's even a 5 is beautiful, right? And especially in the West, they have the world at their feet. So they become very bitchy and demanding, and they think that everybody loves them. So I said, let me walk you back. And she went from, I'm so important, to, really? And she was shocked that I could tell that I was the first man that had ever told her that I'm not interested in sleeping with you anymore. I'm gonna just let you go. And I could see it in her eyes. It's windy. So windy. We're on the rooftop, so what do you expect, right? I try to come out of the wind over here. I could see it in her eyes. Her eyes just, she was like, oh? And she was like, hang on. I was probably the first guy she'd ever come into contact with that wasn't willing to do anything just to sleep with her. And I sent her home. Safety first. It's not worth me risking it with a neurotic girl that already has a history of getting guys in trouble with sexual assault. There's a very good chance that she could have entered my apartment and then had a mental breakdown, and I could have got charged as well. There's probably a trail of men that are in jail now because she's having mental breakdowns, and Western society still has no idea that she's really the problem. She's the nutcase. Now, you can't change Western society. And this is something that I have had to learn myself, is that you can't change society, but what you can do is you can look at all the problems in society and try to figure out solutions so that you can at least try to game the system in your favor. You need to try to figure out how to win under adversity. And this is kind of what it's like in the Western world. And this is why it's so important that you be very careful out there. And I don't want anybody out there to get in trouble or accidentally find themselves getting charged with sexual assault because they dated the wrong neurotic nutcase. And trust me, especially in Australia, there's so many of them. Maybe there's more in America if you look at the mainstream media over there. But that's something that I want you guys to take seriously. This is a serious video, so take this seriously. Be careful out there. Watch your backs. Don't pull any girls back to your place if they show any signs of neuroticism. I'm dead serious here. Take this shit seriously. And I'm surprised there's not enough videos out there by coaches talking about this stuff. But I guess they're probably not getting their clients good enough results because they're mainly, most of the coaches are kids. They're in their 20s. They're just getting results based on being a good-looking 20-year-old American dude. It's not based on actual knowledge, depths of understanding of cold approach and pickup. They're all children, really. And that's probably why they're not talking about these topics. But this is the first thing I teach my clients: safety first. You got to be very careful. So subscribe. If this made sense to you, give me a thumbs up, share it around. If this is the only video that you've seen on of a guy talking about the importance of safety, share it around for me. And if you want to learn cold approach by an experienced older man, that myself, that has decades of experience of cold approach under his belt, hit me up. I'll see you guys in the next video.